Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I am your host, Barrett McDonald, and today I am joined by Andres Collart, CEO of Trip Ninja. Andre, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you like to start off by telling everyone a little bit about yourself and your entrepreneurial journey?
Sure. Thanks for having me. So I'm Andres. I started Trip Ninja back in 2018 or 2017, I believe. My background is industrial engineering, and it was myself and a couple of friends from university that started the company. It's been a bit of a roller coaster in terms of starting a travel technology company in 2018. Really started taking off about 2019. And 2020 was going to look like a great year, but then obviously the pandemic had other plans for us. We had raised some venture capital during that time, and were close to closing the company down end of 2021, when it was then acquired by Webjet Limited, an Australian travel company. And we've stayed on with the business and grown the business after that. So it's been a bit of a wild ride.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a bit of a roller coaster for everyone over that period of time. So, what would you say have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you began in business?
I'd say the biggest one is that it's about people. Like a lot of people in the startup space talk about, it's about product market fit, it's about technology, it's about business model, and all those things are important. But get once you get to a certain point, it's really about developing people to drive those processes forward, to be able to scale beyond what you're able to do yourself, and getting people to have the right motivations, to have the right understanding, the right processes. That's been a huge learning from how to scale things up to the next level.
Absolutely. So, what qualities do you look for your employees, and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment?
So the biggest one is drive. Everything else you can teach. And you obviously don't want to be teaching someone that you hire as a senior developer how to code. But if you have a senior developer, if you have a junior developer, the main thing that's going to set them apart is drive. And part of that is innate to some people, I find. Part of that is about, like you mentioned, the motivations, right? And having a good work environment. And we strive to do that through having good benefits plans, flexible work schedules, all the good stuff about the newer startup companies that are coming through. But it is difficult, and we don't always get it right. But it's something that we work on all the time.
Yeah, you bet. Is there something in particular that sticks out on resumes for you when you're looking through them?
Prior things that they've done that are different, in terms of, have they started a business before? That's a great plus in my view. Or have they done things that are not necessarily the standard path, right? We had, for example, one of our developers came from a medical background, and then they came to Canada and decided, you know what, I want to be a software developer. That really stood out in terms of saying, I want to pursue this because it's my passion, not just because it's the next thing for me to do. And they turned out to be quite good.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. That's been a common theme throughout some of the owners that we've interviewed through this series is they're looking for some uniqueness in a resume as far as commitment to a project and working hard on things. So it's good that it's not just A to B equals C in a lot of different scenarios. So what would you say are some of the common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
Say a common misconception is that you get to make your own schedule, so things are going to be always free. I think that bleeds into a work-life balance where you do have to be flexible, right? For example, I take calls with Australia on Tuesday nights, but then that means that I've got flexibility, and on Wednesday mornings I don't show up as early to the office, right? I come
Right.
in a bit later to account for that, right? So it's a little bit of a just balancing things in work and life differently.
Okay. So how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
I think it's, when there's time that is downtime, make sure you go to the grocery store. It might be 2 p.m. on a Thursday, but if there's nothing that you need to put across the line right now, make sure you take some time to take care of your personal life, because when it's 6 p.m. on a Friday and maybe the servers are down, or you've got an HR issue that you need to tackle, whatever, then the business comes first, and you have to tackle those things, right? So making sure that you've got that flexibility and that you take advantage of that flexibility when you can.
Absolutely. That's a good way of approaching it. So what would you attribute your growth to?
I'd say timing. It was a good time to. So the core of our technology comes at building complex itineraries in a way that is scalable. And as more travel moves to online shopping, a lot of the bigger players weren't able to create these complex itineraries in a way that didn't involve a human creating them for 20-30 minutes. We could create them in 4 seconds, right?
Yeah,
To the same level. So it was that timing of, we had a product that could do this very well, very quickly. And there was the underlying trend of moving more complex travel online.
absolutely. It's sometimes being in the right place at the right time is a key factor. So thinking about all your journey, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently the next time around?
We had an opportunity at one point to, as we were raising investment, to take investment from a person that had a lot of experience, but at the time we didn't need investment. I would have opted to take that investment earlier, even though it would have diluted us more, because having them on board and having them part of the team that is building the company would have definitely been a lot more valuable than whatever dilution we would have encountered. So just taking that longer term approach and understanding that you go further together with people that have industry knowledge and connections and experience, right?
Absolutely. That's a good hindsight moment. So as we're wrapping things up, do you have any last minute solid piece of advice for any of our listeners that might be thinking about making that leap into business ownership and entrepreneurial journeys?
I would say be very clear in your objective, because if you're looking to start a company to sell for $1 billion, that's one path, right? And you have to be very realistic about the opportunities and what it will take to do that. If you're looking to start a company to become a lifestyle business, that's a completely on a different side of the spectrum, right?
Right.
But and neither is right or wrong, right? I personally don't want to start another business at this point that is a $1 billion business. That is a difficult proposition. So yeah, it's about knowing why you're in it.
Absolutely. I think that's some pretty solid advice. So thank you so much for your time today, Andres. It was great meeting you and learning more about your entrepreneurial journey. And to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.